awake inside a form that came before me. Gestures already there before my will. I walk through borrowed memory, as if someone else inhabited my days. The world recognizes me without hesitation, but I no longer know where to place myself. Everything feels stable, too stable even, like a life refusing to move. There are answers before the questions, habits thinking in my place. I am functional, therefore valid, but something inside me fades. I smile without knowing why. I speak with sentences already prepared, and behind them a silent pressure, like a door searching for its fracture. I'm still the former body, but no longer entirely inside it. Something insists without a name, beneath the surface, slowly. It begins without an event, only a slight inconsistency, a displacement in gestures, a delay inside the light. Words lose their precision, as if sliding out of me. I say them, but they no longer belong to me. They detach from my voice. Reality fractures softly, without sound, without explanation. Only micro errors inside the continuity of actions. I feel the system growing tired, not breaking, falling out of tune like a machine stable for too long, beginning to breathe unevenly. And me at the center, motionless, observed by what inhabits me. Something works beneath my skin, without explicit intention. I search for my name inside language, but it no longer answers. It still exists within others, but not inside what I have become. Sentences no longer point toward me. They move around me instead, as if I were an empty space where meaning refuses to settle. I speak, but without anchorage. Every word floats outside context. Even my memory hesitates to recognize me inside the text. Memories Colors lose their signature, they become neutral, interchangeable, as if my life could belong to anyone similar enough. I am no longer defined, I am only crossed through by a blurred continuity that forgets to name me. There is no direction anymore. No inside, no outside. Only a suspended space, without center, without scenery. Thoughts can no longer form stable outlines. They pass, then disappear, without leaving mental traces. Time no longer pushes forward. It remains motionless without tension, like a held breath inside a long suspension. I am neither rupture nor continuity. I am the interval itself, a passage leading nowhere, a state without system. And within this structured void, something waits without waiting. No form chooses itself, yet nothing collapses. Something begins again, but without memory of what existed. New forms appear, without trying to imitate the past. Chaos organizes itself slowly, without familiar logic, like a language being born, without dictionary or border. I do not recognize what returns, yet it crosses through me with clarity, as if the previous void had learned how to articulate itself. Structures begin to emerge, but they do not resemble me. They use my former body as material, not a state. I do not rebuild myself. I recompose differently, and nothing inside me demands the return of what came before. Myself, but it is not a presence. It is a slow organization, thinking without consciousness. It breathes without lungs. It decides without intention. It unfolds through my gestures like a new function. My thoughts are no longer private. They circulate, they transform, as if several versions of me coexisted beneath the form. I do not really speak anymore. I let structures pass through that do not seek to convince, but to exist without rupture. This is not an evolution. It is another biology. Something has taken shape without asking permission. I recognize what once was, but I am no longer contained within it. It is a distant image, without call, without expected return. There is no nostalgia, only a stable distance, like a former self, become impossible to look at. What I am now does not seek translation. It simply continues without needing definition. The former names dissolve without resistance, without drama. They do not leave me. They become useless to the soul. I do not return, because there is no point of return anymore. Only a continuity whose contours have changed.